Welcome to Shift Talk. I'm Chelsea Jaber, your guide on this journey of growth and ascension. Each week, we'll explore tips, tricks, and have meaningful conversations around navigating our collective shift in consciousness. Join me as we uncover the wisdom to help us evolve together. Let's get started.
I'm really excited to share about this. This is actually going to be the first time that I'm ever talking about the field of creation in this deep and profound way. So, before I get into what the field of creation is or how I see it, I'll start with the beginning and how I discovered it, what that whole process was like. For me, it was in the beginning when I had begun trance channeling. I was deep in a meditative state, and I definitely was in the quantum field. I lost all of my senses. I had no taste, smell, sound, sight, touch, just completely in this beautiful space of divine nothingness. And I was kind of just chilling hard in that space because it feels really good. You're just like, you let go of everything, you're feeling good, all physical sensations are gone, and just pure consciousness like floating around. Like, obviously, that's like what we're all interested in, right? Duh. And then there was this huge shift where it's almost like my soul came in and was like, bitch, I got to show you some shit. And I was taken to, it's not even a past life, but that's how I saw it at first because I had started doing a lot of past life regressions on myself and on my clients. And so I could see that I was on an Earth like planet. I was kind of like feeling it around because often when I am doing past life stuff on myself, I'm looking through my own eyes. And then I figured out, oh, this is my soul. It was this cute blob of light and I could see it, and I actually stepped out from viewing it through my eyes and was watching my cute little soul. It just felt really sweet and endearing. I was like, oh, little baby. And I could see my soul was practicing making a rock or a stick in its hand, and it was getting frustrated and kind of upset. And I thought, that's so cute. It's learning about creation. And that's what came through. And that to me was really profound. That's what our souls can do sometimes in between lives. They might go and practice creation. I thought that's so great. That's so cute. Pure light, whatever. Let's do it. And a little bit after that, I was reading a book, maybe a year later. I think it's Journey of Souls. I'm not 100% sure. I guess I could have checked that before I started recording, but whatevs, we're on the fly here. It had shared something similar. In the book, it described another person through past life hypnosis had seen something similar to what I had saw and were sharing their experience in the book, or that's what the author was doing. And it was actually not Earth. It was another planet that souls use to prepare to go to Earth and practice your creation powers. That to me was just really reaffirming. I was like, holy shit, I saw something that other people have seen in their own past life regressions. That made me feel good. I was like, okay, I'm seeing some real shit here for sure. And then I think I just kind of forgot about it, continued living on with my life. I started doing more work about past lives, about trying to understand our existence, our reality. I was shown these ancient giant dragons that were there at the beginning, overseeing the whole creation process of our universe. So there are these ancient wise entities that were in charge. I can't remember if it was the creation of the universe or just monitoring the creation of the universe. I saw them kind of playing with the fabric of the universe, guiding as stars and galaxies were being formed and birthed into existence. Later, I was in a session with my spiritual BFF. Nyla's my healer. She's the girl I go to when I need some cosmic stuff done. Because of our gifts and because we know each other so well, she was guiding me and asking me what was seeing, and then she would confirm it. One of the things I saw, that one was like a crazy session. I was seeing like a past life on Mars from millions of years ago. Another thing I saw was my soul standing in this room overlooking the galaxies or the universe. My consciousness created, or my imagination created that, like my soul had this clipboard, right? and was watching over something, and it was this big blob thing I had created and was moving through the cosmos. My soul was just standing there kind of like, interesting. And so I was telling Nyla, because I was kind of in a hypnosis state myself, where I'm like, oh my God, it's my soul. I created that blob thing. It was not of an earthly form whatsoever. I was just, monitoring the thing I had created. Those 3 moments really stuck with me around the theme of creation. It didn't really leave this huge imprint at the time of like, oh my God, this is something I need to follow. It was really more so, this is so cool. This is awesome. I'm seeing some cool shit. All right, move on with her life. Now let's see the next thing. But through all these experiences, I understood something fundamental, that our earthly journey isn't just about human growth. Of course it is, but it's also about soul expansion, and that we are here to remember that we are quite literally God expressed, or an aspect of God expressed in the physical form, and that we all have the same creative power. Actually, that session with Nyla was at the beginning of 2023. And it really did start to ignite something in me, where it made me remember the dragons with the cosmos and creation. And then it took me back to even when I saw my own cute little soul practicing creating like a little seashell in its hand. It kind of all started to form. And I had this nudge of, remember, you went to this space before. This is a realm. Follow these breadcrumbs. We are literally giving you the breadcrumbs, sis. Start following them. What I started to receive messages about was that if we have the same creative powers as God, because we are an aspect of God, we can bend matter, we can shape reality. That is who we are at our core. Through that whole process, I was like, okay, I'm going to start going into this realm again. I'm going to follow these breadcrumbs down this yellow brick road. I'd start calling it field of creation. That's what I call it. I truly believe we all can access this realm. I'm no one special. I'm sure there are other people out there doing something with this realm for sure. I mean, we're all awakening and activating. So this is something all inherent to us. We all have access to it, kind of like the akashic records or the quantum field. So the way I see the field of creation is this. It is a unique realm. It's a distinct layer of reality that exists alongside our physical world. I think of it as a sacred training ground, a sacred realm where you go to practice your creation powers. It's like the sacred training ground where you are on your soul's journey in the non-physical, and that merges with your earthly experiences. And it's really about where all your innate powers, everything that's true to you, to your core, these magical gifts and creative essence can be fully expressed and experienced, like right here in the physical, in the 3D. What I've learned through this process, this past year, I have been diving deep into this shit. I'm like, let's keep going. No more messing around. No more waiting to see if something cool is going to happen. Taking aligned action towards this, because I just kept getting the nudges. And especially that session with Nyla was a reminder of like, all right, sis, hurry up. Let's do this. I just want to remind everyone what makes this realm so special, or this layer of reality. It's literally not about learning anything new. It's about remembering who you truly are to your core. It's a space where you can actively practice your creation powers and reconnect with your divine nature as God it expressed in the physical form. And it's not like a security blanket. I think it's more about entering into the space, remembering, having these gifts that have been dormant for so long come to the surface so that you can start practicing how to be this godlike essence in your day-to-day life. When I started messing around with the field of creation, I was like, is it the quantum field? Is it the akashic field? What's going on? I just want to kind of differentiate and remember all these layers of reality, all these realms and dimensions we have access to. It's like a cake or a blanket where everything's just threaded together. I think it just makes it easier because our human existence is so mental. Of course, we want to add logic to things. I was like, I don't get it. So confused. I'm like, is it the quantum field? Is it this? Is it that? It's like, yeah, it's like everything all at once. So I kind of look at it as the quantum field is where every possible version of a reality exists simultaneously in timelines, our lives and waiting to come into focus, I guess, because you're the one perceiving the reality. And then the akashic field is like your soul's cosmic library. It holds the complete record of your soul's journey across all incarnations, past, present, future, current. Everything's existing all at once. And it really is just organizing all the data of your soul. And then I see the field of creation as the playground for practicing manifestation, activating your dormant magical gifts, and really just learning how to consciously shape your reality and begin working with matter in a new way. And this is done via your higher mind. When I'm connecting to the field of creation, I feel like I'm connecting to my higher mind or higher self. I'm just sharing about the quantum field, the akashic field, recognizing we have all this information and all this cool shit available to us to really harness our powers, harness our creative powers, and show up as the best, brightest, shiniest human in the physical. And so when I was spending some time going deeper into what the heck the field of creation is, I'm like, has this been around for a while? What's the deal? Give me all the tea. What's all the drama? I basically just asked my guides, what is this space? Like, what the heck is this? What's its purpose? And what do we as humans actually do with it? And their response, they're like, okay, well, in old times it was called witchcraft, and in ancient times it was simply known as magic. And they kind of just were sharing imagery of our dormant magical abilities. Witchcraft itself was very, the patriarchy was not down, and they were kind of showing me through ancient times, like really ancient times, like Atlantean times, what Earth kind of looked like. And there was this beautiful era on Earth where there was magic. There were these magical creatures and humans and human-like entities, not ETs. I mean, those, but like fairies and all of that stuff. Everything we see that's seen as magical or in fairy tales did exist at one point. I remember when I was still doing clients in trance channeling, I started to see what I call them elementals, humans who could work with fire or water. There were a few humans who had the power or ability to work with all of the elements and, but they're moving rocks and playing with fire and moving water. And it was just this really cool, groovy, mystical time on Earth when the rise of attachment to power and the patriarchy started to surface. We were taught, you're not God. You pray to a God. You worship a God, and you don't have powers. A lot of entities and beings had to make their magic go away to protect themselves. Some decided to leave Earth as a physical realm. There's a lot of talk about inner Earth and other dimensions where entities and light beings who used to exist during Atlantean times, Lemuria times, kind of went to that plane of existence that is not technically physical as what we're experiencing right here, right now. And it really did make so much sense to me when they were talking about witchcraft and magic and the capabilities that humans can have. I mean, and there's humans that are 1,000 years old on Earth right now, but I heard that from Bashar. I've heard before and have felt into that humans can live 300, 400 years old. It connects to what we believe is possible in this physical realm. A lot of what we used to think was believable or accepted has completely shifted as the earth shifted from this, matriarchal society to one consumed by power and hierarchy. And it really comes back to when you're working with magic or your gifts, it's this idea that there is this interconnectedness to everything. We are literally connected to everything, to each other, the trees, the forests, the rocks, the animals. That's something we've really forgotten. And we're slowly working back towards. We can see that with the collective awakening, the collective shift in consciousness with our own ascension and the ascension of Earth as a whole. They kind of pointed out there's like these rules or guidelines. I guess they're rules that you can follow when you begin working within your field of creation. First one being thoughts create. Next one, what you believe will be true. Third one being the creator wants you to have everything you desire times a million. The fourth one is matter is malleable with enough belief. And number 5 is creation is easy. So go to the first one, thoughts create. You are literally a fragment of God in the universe, expressed in the physical, here to experience itself. And all creation begins in the mind. The truest aspect of yourself, your soul, your God self, are eternal and everlasting. And so everything that you are creating always begins in the mind. That's what they want you to begin to understand or know. Thoughts create. Everything we see in the physical began as a thought within the mind. And so when you begin to really conceptualize that or grasp that concept, you will see how much of your reality really is reflected back to what was initially created in the mind. So the second one is what you believe will be true. Your thoughts are formed from the beliefs you have pulled about yourself and the beliefs you hold about the world around you. These are also connected to the limitation, laws, and conditions that you also believe in. So these beliefs come from what you've been exposed to throughout your life. So the exposure you've had, and also what has been fed to you from society. We can kind of see how everything you think is contributing to the collective consciousness and your own field of creation. You can also see what is collectively deemed okay by what's currently occurring in society. In order to have a complete shift in society, enough people have to believe in something higher or something different. An example I like is it wasn't that common in the 60s and 70s for women to be business owners or CEOs. As we started to have more people believe that is a possibility, we started to see more and more women take on those higher position roles. Okay, so the next one is matter is malleable with enough belief. A lot of what I've seen in the field of creation comes down to what you believe to be true. If enough people on this planet believe that humans can fly, despite the science, despite gravity, despite whatever it is, then that will be true. Science in this 3D realm will shift as the beliefs shift. If enough people believed that you could imprint your hand into stone, that was a common belief, then it would be true. If enough people believe that you can have fire come out of your hand, then that will be true. We can even see this belief shift with ETs and aliens. Even 5 years ago, the thought of aliens, ETs coming to Earth was pretty unfathomable unless you were like in the spiritual community with that idea. Now I turn on TikTok, that's my news, drones this and ETs that and open contact. We can see how more and more people are beginning to believe that ETs exist and they want to have open contact with us. And so that is what we are beginning to see permeate throughout the collective consciousness, which is then reflected onto physical reality. It starts with thoughts create, what you believe will be true. With enough belief, you can begin to shift matter and shift reality. The creator wants you to have everything you desire times a million. I love this one because it comes back to the only limitations that exist in this physical realm exist in your mind. The 3D realm does feel kind of finite, but it actually isn't, especially as we're shifting from 4D into 5D. You, as a creator, are infinite in your potential. If you want to create the unlimited, you have to be unlimited. There are no limitations to what you can create. If you do believe that there are limitations, then you are abiding by some lame-ass law or condition that doesn't actually express who you are as a soul. So there are no limits, only perceived limitations based on these conditions. These beliefs come from the exposure that you have had. If you've only been exposed to the way you make 100K a year is to become a doctor or a lawyer, then that belief is imprinted on you, and that's kind of where your limitations are. But now we have 19-year-olds making $1 million a year creating videos on TikTok. So that has shifted our belief to what is possible. It could be a practice for yourself, especially in the field of creation, to see how far you can go with your dreams. A lot of us will be like, I'm so happy if I just make 80K a year. It's like, why not 1 million in 1 month? Or why not a house on the beach? That's all material stuff, but it's kind of asking yourself, why not? Like, why not me? Why can't I have that thing? There's no reason for you to not be able to create the exact desire that you have in your mind and in your heart. I remember I was listening to a podcast recently, and the creators of Soak Frequencies, the girl was talking about how she was just listening to frequencies for wealth, and someone donated 500K to her, like just personally, not her business. They just wanted to give her that money, and she had a lot of debt and all the things that come with that. And they just gifted her the 500K out of nowhere. Could you imagine if I told you, like, you can create 500K in a matter of hours? You'd be like, no, I can't. I have to work this many hours, or I have to do this or that. And someone just reached out, and it was anonymous too. She still doesn't know who the people are that donated the 500K to her personally as a gift. That's a really good example of when you're working with your creation power, there are no limits. There are no limits, sis. You can literally fly to the freaking moon on your magic carpet if that's what you truly believe is possible. And then the final one is creation is easy. This is the easiest thing in the world to do as a human and as a soul. I guess not in the world because the soul is not of this world, but really coming into this idea that creation is easy. This is easy, honey. This is what you're meant to be doing. You're creating every second of every day. What you're doing by working within the field of creation is intentionally creating, having intention behind how you're using your gifts, your thoughts, your beliefs, how you're creating in the physical. So, shifting gears here, this is something really powerful I want to share with you all because I was like, okay, so I can bend water. Can you bend water? I can move that tree branch, make a rock in my hand. I don't know. I was just like throwing shit and shade at my guides or whoever was sharing this with me, I guess my own soul. I was like, I want to move that tree branch. How would I do that? That tree branch right over there. How am I going to move it? And in my mind's eye, I started visualizing me walking up to the tree and had my hands face up towards it. And I was just like, oh, I'm going to move this tree branch. Yes, I am. And they actually love that because they're like, see what you just intuitively just did? They're like, that's wrong. That's wrong. The thing is, in order to manipulate matter, we must come into harmony with that thing. It's a very outdated idea that in order to move something, we would have to have control over it or force it. Like, I'm going to move this tree branch. So I'm going to take all the power in my hand. I'm just going to force to move this tree branch. And so that's what they showed me. They're like, it's very 3D to think like I have to have power over something or I have to control something or force something in order to get the results that I want. When we come into harmony with something, it's almost like you're reading energy to energy. So I'm walking up to the tree branch and tuning into its frequency and its energy. That frequency is doing a little dance and you're walking up to that frequency and you're like, I'm going to join your dance. Like I'm dancing a little differently right now, but I'm going to walk up to you and I'm going to groove the way you're grooving. So you're walking up and you're kind of joining their dance, whatever that dance is, and you harmonize with that frequency and you coexist with it and you slowly merge into one frequency, almost like handing yourself over to that frequency. And what they showed me is, let's say you're like, have a cold. And so you're like, I want to quickly heal this cold. The cold is going to be a lower frequency. So you want to be gentle and invite the cold's energy into your higher frequency. You invite that into your frequency if you're trying to heal something within yourself. Those little cells, they're dancing. And so you're inviting them into your higher frequency or higher dance. And this I found was so beautiful because let's say you don't want to move a tree branch, you don't want to have fire come out of your hands. That's cool. You do you. But this comes back to how we can begin creating our dream life. It really comes back to you might visualize the thing and you're just coming into harmony with the frequency of that thing. You are visualizing your dream life, and it might not be the specific thing. Let's say it's a house or a job or a career. Manifestation is not about having the thing, it's about becoming the person who has that thing. We're finishing up here, but I kind of want to talk about some practical application for working within the field of creation. This is inherent to you. I've been working with my guides to create a prayer. I find when I was working with the Akashic Records, it was like a similar process. This is something you can tune into yourself. I'll create like a PDF or something for you to download just so you have it. But a prayer, I'm thinking of also creating a meditation for you guys to be able to download, like a guided meditation. But in simplest terms, it would be grounding yourself, connecting to the earth, connecting to the universal grid of consciousness, inviting one of your guides in, and simply having the intention, I would like to enter my field of creation. In this field, you can visualize yourself creating physical things like rocks and shells. I was shown that by my guides. I practice what God does, which is create life. Or you can use it to tune into what you want to create in the physical, what you want to manifest. And also, you can just kind of cruise and hang out in that space and see what comes forward. Each time you work in the field of creation, you're not just creating your personal reality, you're contributing to the collective consciousness and the creation of planet Earth as a whole. You're helping humanity remember what we're actually capable of. So, before we wrap this up, I know we just covered a lot, and there will be a part two to this episode. This was really just laying down the groundwork of how I discovered this and what it's done for me. I go into the field of creation every now and again just to connect with my soul and that creation power. Each time you're working within or entering the field of creation, you're not just creating your personal reality, you're contributing to the collective consciousness. You're helping humanity remember what we're all capable of. Start small, stay curious, and trust that your soul knows exactly what to do. This is a simple process. This isn't complicated. I think the experiences you can have in there can be complex because anything non physical can feel like that. If you ever feel overwhelmed, just remember you've done this before. Your soul is a master creator. You're just remembering how to do it in physical reality once again. All right, you guys, thank you so much. If you love this episode, please make sure to rate, review, subscribe, do all the things. I do offer one-on-one sessions in the field of creation. If you're interested, you can find the link below or wherever all my links are. And I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day wherever you are in the world. I love you so much. You're the best. You're the master creator of your reality, and I'll see you next time.